Hallo Leute, wir sind hier auf der Ham Radio Amateurfunkmesse in Friedrichshafen. Ich bin Alexandra DO7YLA. Wir sind hier am Stand von Messi und Paoloni und das ist Stefano Messi. Und dies ist eine Firma, die Amateurfunkkabel produziert, denn wir brauchen sowohl die Funkgeräte und die Antennen, aber was verbindet das Ganze? Die Kabel. Deswegen brauchen wir diese auch. Das ist eine italienische Firma, von daher werde ich jetzt auf Englisch switchen und dann auf Englisch weiterreden. Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I wanted to ask you a question. Why do your cables differentiate from other manufacturers and other companies?
Look, first of all, I must say that our company has been established in 1946. So my company is 79 years old, and as a manufacturer, we've got 50 years of experience. So a long time of experience, and we are specialized for 75 ohm and 50 ohm cables, and the 50 ohm cables are normally used by the amateur radio field. And the most important thing for radio amateurs is attenuation. The other important things concerned with the coaxial cable, which is our impedance stability or return loss, but the most important thing, the thing that all our radio amateurs are looking for is attenuation. So for a coaxial cable, attenuation is so important because, let us make an example. We have got over a roof a water tank, and we want to bring through a tube as much water as possible to the taps. And but these tubes are not sealed, perfectly sealed, and there are holes. So not all the water will arrive from the tank to the taps. A lot of water will be dispersed. So this is attenuation. So in the same way, a coaxial cable acts like a water tube. We have got signal, which is catched by the antenna on the roof, and we want to, let us say, we have 10 dB of signal which arrives to the antenna, and from the antenna we want to bring this 10 dB down to your house, your home, your shack, and you want to have as much as possible, but you don't have 10 dB, you can have 5 dB, you can have 7 dB. So the better is the cable, the more dB you shall arrive to the transceiver. So a good cable is the cable with a lowest loss, so the less dispersion of signal. The dispersion of signal is also caused by the length. So if you have 10 meters, you can have less dispersion than if you have 20 meters or 30 meters. And also the frequency is acting as an extra problem, because the higher is the frequency, the higher will be the dispersion. So at 5 megahertz, we can have a much lower dispersion than we can have at 144 megahertz. So you must keep into account that the better is the cable, the better is the antenna, the more signal you shall have at your transceiver. Which is the difference between our cables and somebody else's cable? We can have our flexible cables, we can have solid core cables, the cables with a stranded core like this one, yeah, are more flexible. But if we have a solid core, we can have less flexibility, but a little better signal. So our cables are very famous because of their flexibility and their performance, notwithstanding there is a flexible core. So we are specialized for flexible, high-performance cables, and investing on a good quality cable is one of the best investments, because it's if you have a lot of signal, but you don't have the right cable, just a little quantity of the signal will arrive to the transceiver. So back again, our cable can be of different colors. Yes, the standard cables normally can be in black PVC, which is going to be very flexible, as you can see, is extremely flexible, or can be a little bit stiffer, like this one. This is which is a solid core, so it is stiffer, but it's a very lightweight. This cable is called airborne because it's so lightweight that can be shipped airborne, saving a lot of money for people who want to go for the expedition. And the expedition is our people, the radio amateur field that want to go in a desert island, thousands of miles, thousands of kilometers away, and they want to transmit to all their pals around the world. They want to transmit the signal from a remote island. So this is a very, very lightweight cable. This one is for Potaflex. Pota is a park on the air. So the people want to go in a remote spots in their country and want to transmit and activate that particular park, they need a cable that can be very visible. So the yellow is because nobody should trample on the cable because it's yellow. So you can see the cable very well. You cannot see the cable very well if it's black. But it's also made in order to be trample resistant, and it's much sturdier and can be used and deployed and recovered and deployed and recovered many times per year. This is a very tough cable made for this particular purpose. This is for another cable which is green. Is the same sort of cable but is for the military, and it's a green, it's a military green. It has been made for the same purpose, but here we need the cable not to be seen because we are in the military, and so the enemy cannot see you and the cable. And these cables are, as you can see there, are a triple shield, because another important thing we must keep into account is that these cables must have a very high screening efficiency. What is screening efficiency? Is the capability of a cable to screen and to keep away all the radiomagnetic pollution coming from household appliances, from LED lights, everything that generates electromagnetic noise and pollution. So this screen is so powerful that can block all the interferences, so that the signal will go from the antenna to the receiver in a very neat and clear way, with a very low dispersion of signal. There can be cables with a bigger size, yeah, and the size normally from our range is coming from 5 millimeter to 12.7 millimeter. So the bigger is the cable, the higher is the cost, but it also the lower is the dispersion. So if somebody wants to invest in a good cable, it's a very durable investment, and you've got the chance to have a lot of signal coming from the antenna to your transceiver. Any questions?
No, I think you talked about everything that I wanted to know. So thank you for your interview. Danke fürs Zusehen, Leute. Wir sehen uns dann beim nächsten Video und 73